John Miller looked out the window of the spaceship as it entered the atmosphere of Lumina. The planet glowed with soft blue light that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. After 3 years of messages between Earth and this distant world, humans were finally meeting the Luminians face to face. 10 minutes to landing, said the captain over the speakers. All delegation members, please prepare for arrival. John checked his uniform one last time. At 35, he was the youngest scientist chosen for this mission. His job was to learn about Luminian bodies and how they lived together as families. This was the chance of a lifetime. The ship landed with a gentle bump. John's heart beat fast as the door opened. Bright light flooded in, and he had to cover his eyes for a moment. When he could see again, John gasped. A group of tall beings stood waiting. Their skin shimmered like soap bubbles in sunlight, changing colors with each movement. They had 2 arms and 2 legs like humans, but their faces were smoother, with large eyes that seemed to see right through him. "Welcome to Lumina," said one of the aliens in perfect English. "I am Council Leader Theron." The human captain stepped forward and gave a small bow. "Thank you for inviting us. We hope this visit will be the start of a long friendship between our worlds." After the formal greetings, a female Luminian approached John. Her skin shifted between shades of purple and blue, and her eyes were deep violet. "You must be John Miller, the xenobiologist," she said. Her voice was musical, like water flowing over stones. "I am Ilara. The council has asked me to be your guide during your stay." John smiled and nodded. "It's nice to meet you, Ilara. I look forward to learning about your people." "And I have been studying humans for many years," she replied. "I have watched your television shows, movies, and news broadcasts that have traveled through space. Your species fascinates me." As they walked from the landing area to the welcome building, John noticed Ilara watching him closely. "Is something wrong?" he asked. "Not at all," she said. "I am simply observing. You humans express so much through your faces. We Luminians communicate more directly." "What do you mean by directly?" Ilara's skin rippled with light. "We are telepathic. We can share thoughts with each other. Not full conversations, but feelings, images, basic ideas." John stopped walking. "That's amazing. Can you read my mind right now?" Ilara made a sound like gentle laughter. "No, human minds are closed to us. Your thoughts are your own. That is one reason you are so interesting to us. You are mysteries." The next few days were busy with meetings and tours. John collected samples and took notes, working late into the night. Ilara was always there, answering his questions and asking many of her own. On the 5th day, as they ate lunch together in the research center, Ilara asked something unexpected. "John, what does it mean to be married?" John nearly choked on his food. "Well, it's when 2 people love each other and decide to live together and build a life together." "Love," Ilara repeated the word slowly. "This concept is difficult for us. We form partnerships based on mental compatibility, not emotions. How do you choose who to partner with?" "Our minds resonate with those who complement us. It is biological, not emotional," she explained. "But I find your human customs fascinating. You bond without telepathic connections, using only words and actions. It seems so inefficient, yet beautiful." John laughed. "Yeah, that's a good way to describe human relationships. Inefficient but beautiful." As he looked at Ilara, her skin glowing softly in the light, John realized this mission would be more interesting than he had ever imagined. There was something about her curiosity that drew him in, making him want to share everything about human life with her. And he had no idea that his explanation of marriage had planted a seed in Ilara's mind that would grow into something neither of them expected. 2 weeks passed quickly on Lumina. John spent his days collecting samples and studying Luminian biology. Each evening, Ilara would take him to different places to show him Luminian life. Today, they walked through a large garden where plants glowed with their own light. Small animals like floating jellyfish drifted between tall blue trees. "Your world is beautiful," John said, touching a leaf that changed color under his fingers. "As is Earth from the images I have seen," Ilara replied. Her skin rippled with shades of green, matching the plants around them. "But I am more interested in how humans live together. You mentioned marriage last week, and I have been reading about it." John smiled. Ilara's questions about human life never stopped. "What do you want to know?" "You celebrate the day you formed your partnership each year, with gifts and special meals." "Yes, we call those wedding anniversaries. Some are even named. Paper for the first year, silver for 25 years, gold for 50. Ilara's eyes widened. 50 years. Humans stay with the same partner for that long. Some do. My grandparents were married for 62 years before my grandfather died. They sat on a bench that seemed to grow from the ground itself. Around them, other Luminians walked in pairs or small groups, their skin colors shifting as they communicated silently. "How do Luminian partnerships work?" John asked. Ilara touched her forehead. "When we meet someone whose mind patterns match with ours, we feel a pull. It is like two puzzle pieces fitting together. We then test our compatibility by sharing deeper thoughts. If the connection is strong and helpful for both, we form a partnership." "Is it about love?" John asked. "Not as you understand it. Our partnerships are practical. We choose partners who make us better, stronger, more complete in our work and community role." Ilara paused, her skin shifting to a thoughtful blue. "There is no word in our language for love as humans use it." John tried to imagine life without the idea of romantic love. "That seems very logical. And your system seems very emotional and unstable," Ilara said with a sound like soft laughter. "Yet you build strong families and societies. This fascinates me." Over the next few days, Ilara asked more questions about human relationships. She wanted to know about dating, kissing, weddings, and divorce. John found himself explaining things he had never really thought about before. "So humans give rings to show they want to marry?" Ilara asked as they worked in the lab one morning. "Yes, usually a diamond ring for engagement," John said while looking through a microscope. "Then wedding bands when they actually get married." "Why rings? Why not another object?" John looked up from his work. "I never thought about it. I guess because they're circular, with no beginning or end, like the relationship is supposed to be." Ilara went quiet, her skin pulsing with deep purple waves. John had learned this meant she was thinking deeply. That evening, they'd visited a Luminian community hall where partners worked together to solve problems. John watched amazed as pairs of Luminians sat facing each other, their foreheads almost touching, skin glowing bright as they shared thoughts. "They are working on environmental plans for the northern region," Ilara explained. "See how efficiently they solve problems together. This is why we form partnerships. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts." John thought about human marriages. That's what marriage is supposed to be for us too, in a way. Two people becoming something greater together. On their way back to the research center, Ilara stopped walking suddenly. "John, I have noticed something interesting. When we work together on research, our efficiency is 37% higher than when I work with other Luminians." "Really? That's surprising since we can't share thoughts." "Yes, it is unusual." Ilara's skin flickered with gold sparks, a color John hadn't seen before. Perhaps there are types of compatibility beyond telepathic connection. As they reached the center, Ilara turned to him. "Tomorrow is the Moon Festival. Would you like to attend with me? It is important in our culture." "I'd be honored," John replied, not knowing that the Moon Festival was when Luminians traditionally formed new partnerships. The night of the Moon Festival arrived. John dressed in the special blue robes Ilara had given him. He didn't know much about the festival, only that it was a celebration when both of Lumina's moons were full. Ilara met him outside his quarters. Her skin glowed with a silver light that made her look almost magical. She wore a simple white dress with small crystals that caught the light. "You look beautiful," John said, suddenly feeling shy. "And you look very proper in traditional festival clothes," she replied with a flicker of pink across her skin. They walked together to the large open field where the festival was held. Hundreds of Luminians gathered under the twin moons. Music played from instruments John had never seen before, making sounds that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "What happens at this festival?" John asked as they found a place to sit on soft blue grass. "We celebrate the harmony of our two moons," Ilara explained. "It is a time when we feel most connected to each other and to our world." All around them, Luminians were pairing off. Some placed their foreheads together, their skin glowing brightly as they shared thoughts. "Many partnerships are formed or strengthened on this night," Ilara added quietly. John looked at her with surprise. "Is that why you invited me? Is this like a date?" "A date?" Ilara's skin rippled with curious yellow patterns. "Yes, perhaps it is similar to your human concept of a date." The festival included dancing, eating special foods, and a ceremony where the Luminian Council blessed new partnerships. John found himself enjoying everything, especially watching how happy Ilara seemed to be sharing her culture with him. Later, they walked away from the crowd to a small hill where they could see both moons clearly in the sky. The larger moon glowed blue, while the smaller one shone with a golden light. "This is my favorite view," Ilara said, her voice soft. "I can see why. It's amazing." John looked up at the moons, then at Ilara's face glowing in the moonlight. "John, I have been studying human relationships extensively," Ilara said suddenly. "And I have been monitoring our work together. Do you know that our research has advanced more in 3 weeks than my previous team did in 6 months? Really? That's great." "Yes, we are exceptionally compatible in our work. We think differently, but our thoughts complement each other perfectly." Ilara turned to face him directly. "When Luminians find such compatibility, it is considered very special." John's heart beat faster. There was something in her voice that made him nervous and excited at the same time. "I've enjoyed working with you too," he said carefully. Ilara took a small step closer. "John Miller, how can I marry you?" The question hit him like a splash of cold water. "What? How can I marry you?" Ilara repeated, her skin pulsing with bright colors. "What steps must I take to form a permanent partnership with you in the human way?" John stared at her, unable to find words. "Ilara, marriage isn't just about work compatibility. It's about love, about wanting to spend your life with someone because of how you feel about them." "I have analyzed my feelings," Ilara said. "When you are near, my heart beats 12.3% faster. I think about you when we are not working together. I find myself wanting to share every new discovery with you first. Is this not similar to what humans call love?" "It's not that simple," John said, his mind racing. "We're from different worlds, different species. We've only known each other for a few weeks. Time is measured differently between us," Ilara replied. "My people form partnerships based on compatibility, not time. And we have exceptional compatibility, John." Before John could answer, his communication device beeped. It was an urgent message from the human delegation. "I have to go," he said, almost relieved for the interruption. "There's an emergency meeting." As he hurried away, John's thoughts were in chaos. Had an alien just proposed to him under twin moons? And even more confusing, why didn't he immediately say no? John rushed into the meeting room where the human delegation had gathered. Captain Lisa Pearson looked up as he entered. "Miller, good, you're here. We've received some interesting news from the Luminian Council." John sat down, still thinking about Ilara's proposal. "What news?" "It seems your friend Ilara isn't just any scientist," said Dr. Ward, the mission's lead diplomat. "She's actually a member of the High Council family. Basically, she's Luminian royalty." John stared at them. "What? She never told me that." "The council just informed us," Captain Pearson said. "They also mentioned that Ilara has shown unusual interest in you." care to explain. John felt his face grow hot. She asked how she could marry me. Tonight at the festival. The room went silent. Then everyone started talking at once. This is unprecedented. A diplomatic opportunity. Is it even biologically possible? The political implications. Captain Pearson raised her hand for silence. John, did you give her an answer? No. I got called to this meeting before I could really respond. Dr. Ward leaned forward. You need to understand what this means. A marriage between you and someone from their ruling family would create the first human-Luminian alliance. It could open doors for trade, technology sharing, even joint space exploration. John frowned. You're talking like this is a political arrangement. For the Luminians, partnerships often are, Dr. Ward replied. They value practical benefits over emotional connections. After the meeting, John walked back to his quarters, his mind full of confusion. When he finally fell asleep, strange dreams came to him. He was walking through beautiful gardens he had never seen before, feeling emotions that seemed both his and not his. He saw memories of a young Luminian girl learning about distant Earth, watching human broadcasts with fascination. When John woke, his head hurt, and he felt disoriented. Something was changing inside him, something he couldn't explain. Later that day, he met Ilara in the research lab. Her skin was a calm blue, but it rippled with spots of yellow when she saw him. You did not return to the festival, she said. I couldn't. The meeting ran late. John paused. Why didn't you tell me you're part of the ruling family? Ilara's skin darkened slightly. It did not seem relevant to our work. Does my position change how you see me? No, but Ilara, the delegation thinks our potential, marriage, would be politically valuable. Is that wrong? She asked. On Lumina, all partnerships have multiple benefits. Personal, professional, societal. The fact that our connection could help both our worlds makes it more meaningful, not less. John rubbed his temples. I had strange dreams last night. I saw places on Lumina I've never visited. Ilara's skin suddenly glowed bright with surprise. You saw my memories. I think so. How is that possible? You said humans can't share Luminian telepathy. Ilara moved closer, her eyes wide. It has never happened before. Perhaps our minds are more compatible than I realized. She reached out slowly and touched his hand. A warm feeling spread up John's arm and into his chest. What's happening to me? He whispered. I don't know, Ilara said softly. But it means you are not just any human, John Miller. And this is not just any connection. As they stood there, a Luminian official entered the lab. Ilara, the council requests your presence immediately. They wish to discuss your proposal to the human. Ilara's skin flickered with determination. Tell them I will come shortly. After the messenger left, she turned to John. They will try to convince me that this is too unprecedented, too risky. What should I tell them? John looked into her alien eyes and realized that despite all the complications, despite all the differences between them, he wasn't ready to say goodbye to whatever was growing between them. Tell them we need time, he said. Tell them I'm going back to Earth for my scheduled check-in next week. When I return, we'll have an answer. The Earth ship landed smoothly at the Chicago Space Center. John stepped out into the familiar gravity and breathed in Earth air for the first time in 3 months. It felt strange after so long on Lumina. Welcome home, stranger, said a friendly voice. John turned to see Kate Wilson, his old friend from training. They hugged briefly. How does it feel to be the first human to get a marriage proposal from an alien? Kate asked with a smile as they walked to the waiting car. John sighed. News travels fast. It's all anyone at the Space Center is talking about. The higher-ups are excited about the diplomatic possibilities. For the next few days, John attended meetings with government officials and scientists. Everyone wanted to know about Ilara and the Luminians. Most importantly, they wanted to know if he would accept her proposal. "We're not pushing you toward any decision," said Director Morgan during one meeting. "But a human Luminian union would open doors for technology sharing and scientific cooperation. It could advance our species by decades." John nodded politely, but inside he felt trapped. Everyone was thinking about what his decision meant for Earth. No one seemed concerned about what it meant for him. On his 5th day back, John met Kate for lunch at their favorite park. They sat on a bench watching normal Earth things. Children playing, dogs chasing balls, clouds moving across a single moon sky. "You seem lost in thought," Kate said. "I am." John watched a leaf fall from a tree. "Everyone has an opinion about what I should do, but no one understands what it's like." Kate ate her sandwich silently for a moment. "So tell me, what is it like?" John thought carefully before answering. "Ilara is amazing, brilliant, kind, curious. When we work together, it's like we complete each other's thoughts. And now I'm starting to actually feel her thoughts too, which the scientists say should be impossible." "Sounds like you care about her." "I do. But if I marry her, where would we live? Could we have children? Would either of us be happy in the other's world?" Kate put down her sandwich. "Those are the same questions anyone asks before getting married, John. Different cultures, different backgrounds. The details are just more extreme in your case." John had never thought of it that way before. "I guess you're right. So forget about Earth and Lumina for a minute," Kate said. "When you think about Ilara, how do you feel?" John closed his eyes. Immediately, he felt a warm presence in his mind, like Ilara was somehow with him despite being light years away. He smiled. "I feel like I found someone who understands me better than anyone ever has, even though she's not human." "That's rare, John. Some people search their whole lives for that kind of connection." That night, John dreamed of Ilara again. This time, she seemed to be actively trying to reach him across the stars. Her thoughts were clearer. "I miss our conversations," her voice said in his mind. "The Council is concerned about our connection, but they cannot deny its strength. No Luminian has ever connected telepathically with a human before." When John woke, he made his decision. He called Director Morgan. "I need to get back to Lumina as soon as possible," he said, "and I need your help with something before I go." 2 days later, John boarded the return ship. In his pocket was a small box containing a ring, a simple gold band with a small diamond. It wasn't the political alliance that Earth wanted or the telepathic partnership that Lumina expected. It was a human tradition, a personal choice. As the ship left Earth's atmosphere, John felt Ilara's presence growing stronger in his mind. Whatever was happening between them was more than either of their species had imagined possible. He didn't have all the answers about their future, but he knew they would find them together. The return journey to Lumina felt much shorter than John expected. His mind was busy with plans and questions. The small ring box in his pocket seemed to grow heavier with each passing day. When his ship finally landed on the blue-green surface of Lumina, John felt a wave of emotions wash over him, some his own, some not. Ilara was nearby, and he could sense her. As he stepped off the ship, he saw her waiting. Her skin glowed with shifting colors, blue, purple, and flashes of gold. Around her stood several other Luminians with more formal expressions. "Welcome back, John Miller," said one of the official-looking Luminians. "I am Council Member Valen. We have much to discuss." John nodded politely, but his eyes stayed on Ilara. She looked different somehow. "Ilara will join us after your meeting," Valen said, noticing their locked gaze. "She has been studying while you were away." The meeting was held in a grand room with views of Lumina's twin moons. 5 council members sat across from John, their skin patterns synchronized in a way that suggested they were sharing thoughts. "We understand you have been considering Ilara's proposal," said the eldest council member. "This is unprecedented. No Luminian has ever formed a partnership with a human." "I understand," John replied. "It's unusual for us too." "There are practical matters to consider," said another council member. "Where would you live?" How would you communicate when you return to your world? Partnerships require constant mental connection for Luminians. John leaned forward. About that, I've been experiencing something strange. I can feel Ilara's thoughts sometimes, even across space. I had dreams of her while on Earth. The council members' skin flashed with surprise, their synchronized patterns breaking for a moment. This should not be possible, Valen said. Human minds are close to us. Yet it is happening, said the eldest member. Perhaps there is more to learn about both our species. After several hours of questions, John was finally allowed to see Ilara. They met in the garden where they had once discussed marriage and partnerships. You look different, John said when they were alone. Ilara's skin rippled with nervous energy. While you were away, I underwent a procedure. I wanted to understand human emotions better. Our scientists created a neural modification that allows me to experience feelings more like you do. John was shocked. You changed yourself. For me. For us, she corrected. And for science, I wanted to understand love as humans do. Her skin glowed warmly. It is overwhelming. How do you humans manage such intense feelings? John laughed softly. We don't always manage them well. He took her hand gently. The telepathic connection between them flared immediately, stronger than before. I've changed too, he said. This connection between us is growing. I can feel your thoughts, your presence, even when we're apart. Ilara's skin pulsed with happiness. The council is concerned about this development. They fear what it might mean. And what do you think it means? I think it means we are creating something new, she said, neither fully human nor fully Luminian. John took a deep breath and reached into his pocket. He pulled out the small box and opened it, revealing the diamond ring. On Earth, when someone wants to marry another person, they give them a ring like this, he explained. It's a symbol of commitment and love. Ilara looked at the ring with fascination. It is beautiful. But John, you must understand. If we do this, we will be creating a new path. There will be challenges we cannot predict. John smiled. That's true for any marriage. The council may not approve. My government has concerns too. They looked at each other, both aware of the weight of their decision. Then Ilara's skin glowed with a new color, a warm, steady golden light that seemed to come from deep within her. Is that a yes? John asked softly. It is a beginning, Ilara replied, extending her hand. 6 months later, the gardens of Lumina were decorated with both earth flowers and glowing Luminian plants. A special platform had been built where the two moons could be seen clearly in the sky. Humans and Luminians gathered together, the first large mixed gathering of the two species. John stood on the platform wearing formal earth clothes with touches of Luminian design. His heart beat fast as he waited. Both human and Luminian officials sat in the front rows, their expressions showing a mix of excitement and uncertainty. Music began to play, a beautiful blend of earth melodies and the musical thought patterns of Lumina. Ilara appeared at the far end of the garden path. Her skin glowed with a soft white light that seemed to pulse with her heartbeat. She wore a simple dress that combined Earth wedding traditions with Luminian formal style. As she walked toward John, he could feel her thoughts touching his mind. Are you nervous? Her thoughts asked. A little, he thought back, but mostly happy. The ceremony combined elements from both worlds. They exchanged Earth wedding vows, speaking promises out loud for everyone to hear. Then they placed their foreheads together in the Luminian tradition, sharing their deepest thoughts and feelings in a way that made the watching Luminians gasp with surprise. When John placed the ring on Ilara's finger, her skin rippled with joy colors. When she placed her hands on his temples for the Luminian bond touch, many of the watching humans wiped tears from their eyes. I now pronounce you partners in the way of both Earth and Lumina, said the official who led the ceremony. 2 worlds, 2 traditions, 1 union. At the celebration afterward, humans and Luminians mixed together, sharing food, music, and conversation. John and Ilara moved among them, helping to bridge the gap between their peoples. "You know," John said quietly to Ilara, "when you first asked me how you could marry me, I thought it was impossible. And I did not understand what marriage truly meant to humans," she replied. "Now we have created something new together." 5 years passed. John and Ilara split their time between Earth and Lumina, serving as ambassadors between the worlds. Their unique bond, part human emotion, part Luminian telepathy, made them perfect for this role. They established a school on Lumina where both species could learn about each other. Young humans were taught the basics of telepathic awareness, while young Luminians learned about human emotions and relationships. The school became a model for cooperation between the worlds. Not everything was easy. They faced health challenges from living in each other's worlds. They sometimes struggled to understand each other's needs and ways of thinking. But they worked through each problem together. One day, as they sat in their garden at sunset, a group of human and Luminian students walked by. The students were laughing together, the humans showing signs of basic telepathic ability, the Luminians displaying human-like emotional expressions. "Look at them," Ilara said, her skin glowing with a warm orange sunset color. "They'd moved between our worlds so easily now." John squeezed her hand. They grew up with both ways of thinking. For them, it's natural. A strange energy field had been discovered around John and Ilara years ago. When humans and Luminians spent time near them, they found it easier to understand each other. Scientists from both worlds studied this phenomenon but couldn't fully explain it. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you had said no when I asked how I could marry you?" Ilara asked. John shook his head. "I think we were always meant to find each other. Maybe not marriage exactly, but this connection between us was waiting to happen." As the twin moons rose in the sky, John and Ilara watched their students walking together between two worlds, no longer separated by the barriers that once seemed impossible to cross. "We didn't just build a marriage," Ilara said softly. "We built a bridge."